Hello to everyone on Facebook and YouTube who are joining us. We've decided to give you all a little taste of what's happening at the GFA 2021 virtual convention. The convention is streamed free to all GFA members on our website, so become a member today. This morning we had a technique workshop with Grisha Goryachev on developing Rasgato technique and a lecture on developing successful practice habits. If any of that sounds interesting to you, come on, join us at guitarfoundation.org and start watching today. Every workshop, lecture, event, and concert will also be available on demand for members. And now for some beautiful guitars in the Luthier Showcase, followed by our Virtual Vendor Expo, generously sponsored by the Augustine Foundation.
Hi, it's Gary Lee coming to you from New Jersey, 20 miles west of New York City. During the pandemic, I was so fortunate to be able to build guitars in my workshop uninterrupted. I'm so grateful to our guitar community for keeping the arts alive and so vibrant. Thank you to the GFA and its visionary staff for bringing us innovative media, and to the guitar societies and educators across the globe who persevered. And of course to the artists whose spirit and energy, as you'll see in this video, were not dampened.
Greetings and hello, I'm Xenomelia II, connoisseur of classical guitar and all things musical, and you may recognize me from my hit GFA TV segment Xeno Introduces. I know, thank you. But today I'm going to be introducing something else, and that's because I'm hosting this year's GFA Vendor Expo. Instead of introducing composers, I'm going to be introducing these wonderful vendors, talk a little bit about what product they have available, and why you, as a guitarist and as a lover of music, should go support them. So, stay tuned and let's see what comes up. All right, hello. How are you?
I'm doing great, Zeno. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. For the GFA audience, with whom do I have the honor of meeting today?
My name is Eli Blum, and I'm the Director of Promotion and Marketing and some other things at Augustine Strings. And it's a pleasure to be here in my basement.
That's great. Today we're going to talk about Augustine Strings, as this is the Vendor Expo, and we're hopefully going to figure out more about why guitarists should be choosing your strings as opposed to any of the other strings out there, of which there are many. Why do you think that a guitarist should go for Augustine as opposed to any other brand?
Well, besides the fact that we make a great string, a great sounding string, I think that what Augustine Strings has that other brands don't is a connection to guitar history. Albert Augustine invented the nylon string in partnership with Andres Segovia. Like him or not, he's one of the most important figures in our little community. As the decades have worn on, so many masterful players have used Augustine Strings on their guitars that they really need no introduction. What we're trying to do at Augustine Strings today is really furnish a community of guitarists that can sort of rest on the legacy of people like Albert Augustine and Andres Segovia, but bring classical guitar forward into the future. Because we take it for granted now, but at the time, in 1947, when Albert developed the first nylon string, it was a brand new thing. There were probably a lot of people who thought it was a weird and silly idea. Here we are now, and what we're really excited about at Augustine is finding people who are going to come up with the next crazy ideas for the guitar and continue moving our community forward.
That's awesome. So, off the top of your head, when you think Augustine artists, can you give me a couple of names to kind of guide people in the right direction?
Absolutely. Well, for a long time, we only had one endorsing artist. I've already mentioned him, Andres Segovia. He was a very good friend of the Augustines. He actually crashed at their apartment in New York for many years. In bringing Augustine into the future, we are so lucky to be played by artists like Jason Vio, Jorge Caballero, and then this crop of amazing young artists, Javier Hara, T.Y. Zhang.
I imagine that you're playing on Augustine Strings as well, yes?
I stand by our product. I don't just work for Augustine, I am an Augustine player.
So I take it no Diodario carbon G string for you either?
No, in fact, carbon strings are very new to the Augustine brand as well. We released our, they're called Paragon, and they're a carbon string that we released in, I think, 2019, and they've been very well received. They're a slightly different formula than other carbon strings you'll find out there that makes them ring out a little bit more organically. It was kind of a real coup for our company because we're so associated with nylon strings because we brought them to market.
You practically birthed the nylon string. So this was almost like this new, almost, I guess, hot take in the string world that Augustine's so tied with conservation of traditional nylon string would put out a carbon string now.
I think that's why it took so long for us to join the club, and hopefully Albert and Andres are not spinning in their graves. I think they'd be pretty proud of how good the strings sound.
I guess kind of one silly question. On Augustine Strings, what is your favorite piece to play?
Oh, well, I'm kind of an old fogey, so I still just love me some PFA. I find that when I string up my guitar with Regal Blues and play that, it really puts me in the place where I want to be.
Is it safe to say that in the future, guitarists will not be looking forward to an Augustine Barrios line of string that is steel?
Well, it's funny that you should mention that. While we won't be branding it as Augustine Barrios, we do carry acoustic and electric strings, which are made with the same sort of boutique precision that our classical strings are made with, but are for guitarists who prefer to play flat tops or electric guitars.
We only have time for so much in our interview, but in parting, is there anything you'd like to leave us with?
I want to first thank GFA for putting on another outstanding event that can make us feel closer together. We're very much looking forward to live performances again, seeing one another in person, hearing Augustine Strings ring out in concert halls once again. I think that what we've all gone through over the last 18 months is a testament to the strength of the guitar community. Augustine is going to continue to be a really important part of that.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Zeno.
Answering these questions, really big deal.
No problem. Hey, I'll for a Kuntz fan, it's no problem.
Greetings. Hello, how are you?
Fine, thank you, Zeno. It's certainly nice to meet you and see you on screen.
It's nice to meet you too. Why have you joined us today for the Vendor Expo? What is your product? And tell us a little bit about it.
Okay, I am a retired professor from Millikan University. I created Guitar Chamber Music Press in 1990. However, it's evolved over time, and especially after I retired, I kind of went full time with this publishing part of it. Anyway, what's interesting is this past year I've created a new website. We are guitarchambermusicpress.com now. The entire name plus .com.
What kind of things are we looking at? If someone were to go to your website, guitarchambermusicpress.com, what would they find?
A variety of music, all for guitar, whether it be guitar solo or guitar with other instruments, you name it. We cover most of the products.
Tell me a little bit about how you got into guitar chamber music. Classical guitar already is a very niche category, but classical guitar chamber music is like almost like seeing a unicorn.
Yeah. So, well, first of all, as a college professor, it was always incoming freshmen and so forth were often not as well prepared as students in other areas because they'd had the band experience or the choral experience and that kind of thing. So they usually come in with, people mentioned cowboy chords and some knowledge of first position fingerings and so forth, but not a whole lot of professional or training. It became apparent to me that they needed to have experience reading music and being exposed to music outside their comfort zone. As they say, see a need, fill a need, and I started arranging, and eventually it developed into Guitar Chamber Music Press over a long period of time. So,
would you say that the majority of your music online is for an educational setting, or would you say that there's a good mix of educational performance? What's the selection like on your website?
I think it's a very wide variety of styles, and you have Renaissance through the present day, so the covers a large variety of time periods as well. And it's not just guitar quartet or guitar ensemble, as I said. So I'm doing chamber music and all that. So it's not only for the learning younger students, but also for the intermediate and professionals. So there's a wide variety of music for the guitarist. So
that's awesome. Do you also have solo repertoire on your website?
Yes, I do. Quite a bit. Matter of fact, this past year I was fortunate to have a number of solo things that were added to my catalog, original things. One is by a Russian guitarist by the name of Anna Anazmacheva, and then a Chicago guitarist by the name of Steve Vasquez. Both wrote solo works. Anna, as I will say in particular, it includes 23 really nice pieces. They kind of fit popular contemporary style. A colleague of mine at Millikan University wrote a piece for the first Mid-America Guitar Ensemble Festival. And this is kind of what kind of got me going. Anyway, but it's called Episode in Compound Meter. It's modern music. You know, it's a little spicy jazz,
Yeah.
With a compound meter, and it has some nice chordal harmony in it, and it's very nice.
Final kind of question, I suppose. What would you like to leave the viewers of this, the members of the GFA? What message would you like to leave us, and what can we look forward to from you in the future?
I'm new to this business. I'm an independent. Catalog is unique, and I hope that people would take a moment and visit our website and see if you can find something that you like, or ask for some recommendations. I can recommend things that would fit either high school groups or college groups or professionals. It's hard work, it's busy work, but I enjoy it, and I'm glad to do it and share this with the guitar world.
Well, you heard it here first. Mr. Mallard is the future of Guitar Ensemble. Check out guitarchambermusicpress.com, because if you don't, we will both come to you and we'll tell you to buy stuff from his store.
Well, Zeno, thank you so much for interviewing me, and it's been a pleasure, and hope you have enough useful information in here to
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks to the GFA.
Yeah, perfect.
All right, man. You have a great day.
Take care. Greetings. How are you doing?
Pretty good.
Happy to hear that. So do you want to tell us, for the viewers of the GFA who I have the pleasure of speaking to, and a little bit of what you do?
Well, my name's Yoshia Young. I'm a classical guitar maker, and I've been making guitars since I was 13. My dad, Sergei Young, also a guitar maker, so I primarily learned from him, and yeah.
What would you say makes your guitars so special?
Well, every aspect, but I mean, the standard things are the way I brace my guitars is unique. I guess the way I plane the neck, the way I contour, like do a twist in the neck. It's Eric Saline that I got the idea from. So yeah, there's a number of makers doing that. I guess it's also not one thing, it's like every detail. I mean, handmade guitars, that's the whole thing about handmade guitars, is every detail is focused on.
So you mentioned a unique bracing to your guitar. Is this some sort of secret type of bracing, or are you okay to talk about your process building?
No, not a secret. It's a lattice pattern based on a lattice pattern that my dad and my brother designed in the late 90s. So it's kind of based on that pattern, but then I've been tweaking it and kind of changed it a fair bit since. It's a woven lattice, I call it, because the braces are woven together instead of one course on top of the other. So they kind of go through each other and they're all the same height. So it kind of gives a more balanced sound, more even distribution of stiffness across the top. I've recently started doing double tops as well, based on Gernot Wagner's style, like using a Nomex core. But then I'm doing lattice on top of that, like a lot of double tops are fan braced. Anyway, so that's unique. I'm sure there's other people doing double tops with lattice as well, but I don't really know who they are. So that's maybe unique to me. Then the woods, I mean, lots of woods that different makers use. I've been really into the various ebonies lately. Yeah.
It's perfect. So if someone was interested to hear what one of your guitars sounds like, given that, they can't go try them themselves, which players should we look out for who are playing on your guitars?
On my website, there's Colin Davin, Drew Henderson, and Irina. There's demo videos, Irina Kulikova. Demo videos with those players. We're actually about to start teaching a guitar making course this fall, so we'll be teaching together. He primarily was more of a steel string builder. He worked with my father for years apprenticing as well. My dad makes steel string and classical. He was doing that. Now, he's focusing more on repairs. It's a 6-week course, and so you'll be like start to finish building a guitar from, picking out your wood, joining back sides, the whole process sped up a bit. The finishing process will be sped up for sure, but so building the guitar will be. My dad has taught courses for years, and when I worked in his shop, I used to kind of assist, help, TA with him. So I have a lot of teaching knowledge, but I've been in my own shop for the last 5 years or so, and I guess was just ready to start having more people in the shop and starting to teach again after kind of having a break of just being on my own in the shop.
When would you say your proudest moment as a luthier was?
I like to say after, completing every guitar, but for sure some guitars stand out more than others. It's hard to say one moment. I mean, there was definitely like early gratification. I went to a show in Tacoma this is 98. And actually I had a steel string and a classical at that show, but there was kind of a listening session at that show, and people like Jeff Elliott and Geza Burkhardt were in the audience, guitar makers I really respect. And my guitar was kind of compared to all the guitars and by the audience choice considered the best there. So I was like 19 or something. That was kind of an incredible feeling and just really inspiring to be like, okay, I'm going to keep doing this. That was definitely a moment, but I don't know. It's hard to say one moment. I really am missing going to the guitar shows for sure and connecting with the whole community. Going to the shows and hearing so many people play my guitars it's really inspiring just to hear what people say, and just, I don't know, being at the concerts, like being like, this is the purpose of what I do. I mean, I also love kind of working for myself and my own schedule and like so much of the details in the woodwork, but I definitely am missing that interaction with the players. And
Yeah, it's a very fulfilling,
yeah,
work of love, I guess. It's really special. Just in parting, do you have any thanks you'd like to give out? Just any parting wisdom for us as we go through the GFA convention and the pandemic?
Yeah, I mean, definitely thanks for keeping things going through all of this. Definitely like missing everyone and really hoping I was hoping to be there this year in person, but borders not open and such. But yeah, really looking forward to seeing everyone next year, hopefully in person, I'm guessing. Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for joining me. And I hope you have a really great day. Okay.
Yeah, you too. Take care.
Nice to meet you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good morning, Zeno. This is Kenny Hill in California. Glad to meet you.
Hi, Kenny. So happy to meet you too. First of all, I just like to say I'm a big fan of your stuff. Do you want to tell us a little bit about what you do and why you're here at the Vendor Expo?
Well, I've been coming to GFA expos for decades now, and I would feel left out if I wasn't here. We're, making classical guitars, but the instruments that I've been making so much in the last few years are kind of evolutionary and mostly custom guitars right now. Although I do have a crew, I have 3 people that work in the workshop with me. I mean, they do most of the work these days. I'm just managing things as much as anything, except or developing new things. I usually do that, develop new designs. I also do have a line of import guitars, New World guitars, that are much cheaper, I mean, much more affordable, and do really well. Kind of, I guess you'd say, as student instruments, but they're awfully good, so it's a little hard to categorize them.
You talk about categories for your instruments. If somebody wanted to get one of your guitars, what are they looking at? Do you have a lineup of guitars? You mentioned imported guitars. What would somebody be looking for?
Yeah, it's just a business and marketing strategy. I do have models. I have the signature model, I have New Century model, I have the Legacy model now, and these are things that are characterized by certain, kind of accumulated features. And I also do a very lovely Torres model. So the Torres, that is my holdover from when I used to make copies, some really dedicated copies in the Master Series. But eventually I got more interested in developing my own design ideas, I guess, and there's been a lot of experimenting done, and of course experimenting piles up. Some things stick, some things don't. Right now I'd say my ultimate guitar, the Legacy model that I'm doing, is an instrument with double top, elevated fingerboards, sound ports, an ergonomic body that I have developed that just fits you like a glove, and true temperament fretting system, so this is kind of the accumulated frontier points that have kept me personally excited about what's next in the guitar. And to me, each of these things is an improvement in creating, a more satisfying, more personal and dynamic guitar playing experience.
How would you say that the Hill Guitar Company is staying relevant, and what can we look forward to in the future from you?
I don't know about the future because I'm getting old. I've got some really good guys that are working for me, and they could carry it as a lot longer than I'll be able to carry it. And so the future is God knows what the future is. I feel pretty good, but I'm getting just plain old. This is not a perfect way to look at a guitar, but as you can see, maybe in the light there's the true temperament system kind of shining through.
And what is a true temperament system for someone who may not know?
Well, basically, it's an attempt to get it so that each note on the fingerboard is in an accurate position for just basically for doing equal temperament. When you have a piano or a keyboard of any sort, each note gets its own key. But here, 6 notes have to, or one fret has to share 6 notes, or 6 notes have to share 1 fret. And if the fret is straight, some are going to be treated better than others. The strings stretch differently. The G string stretches differently than the D string does. We all kind of know that. But that means that though the mathematical accuracy on a traditional fretting system is mathematically correct, but in the real world, the material world, it's not quite there. So this is an attempt to bring it more nearly there of equal temperament.
In parting, for the viewers of the Vendor Expo and GFA in general, is there any advice you'd like to give, any thanks you'd like to send out? What's going on?
Well, I've been able to check in a little bit on the video things that the GFA has been doing, but I gotta give everybody credit for keeping the flame burning, and in some ways, keeping the flame burning has started out as an emergency plan, and it's turning into something else. And I think GFA has done, to the sampling that I've seen, has done a pretty darn good job of keeping the organization relevant during, a weird ass change.
Yeah, I would agree. Mr. Hill, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for taking time to do this, and everybody be sure to check out his stuff.
Yeah, just contact me. Hillguitar.com is the website, and it's probably the best portal to get whatever. And then you can call me or email or whatever.
Hello. How are you guys doing today?
Oh, great to see you. We are doing very well now. Everybody is doing well. So happy to see you are in good shape. So I'm Bernard Maillot, the president of Savarez. I am involved in Savarez from 1974. Close to me there is Philippe Guillon, who is international sales manager and is involved in the relation with musicians too.
Let's just kind of talk about Savarez first. How would you describe Savarez, as a company, and how does it provide for the world of guitar?
We are very sensitive to music. I entered the company because we deal with music, with musicians. As I could not be a musician myself, I was very much interested in being involved in that, meeting musicians and so on. And the company remained a family-run company. So knowledges were transmitted from one person to another person. So the management is really a management oriented to the product and to good relations with the musicians.
So Savarez, for those who don't know, who are going to be watching this, is one of the leading string companies for classical guitar. What do you think makes the Savarez string so amazing?
So that of course, it is a very good question, because I would not say we ask this question every day. How is it possible? People love our string. I think that one of the most important reason why we reach a good level is the work we do with musicians. We listen. So every day, it is work absolutely every day. We are never satisfied of what we have done, and we We ask people, what do you want? Would you like something different? And sometimes they come to us and say, okay, I would like that. I would like more of this and more of that. And we start again working. For me, the most important in my work is the relation with the musician, concerts and personal and friendship and so on.
Yeah, and also as a leader company on the market, we are always looking for new raw materials with research and department. And sometimes they say, oh, I have these new raw materials, so let's try if we can make a string with these raw materials. And as Bernard said, the musicians is the key for us, because when we begin to make a prototype, sometimes it takes years and years to create a string. Sometimes it's shorter, and sometimes the strings never goes on the market. So we have to try. We have to try. But we have many experience, and this is what is really interesting.
Are there any new types of strings that guitarists can be looking forward to? Oh, the secret.
You mentioned the creation. The creation is composed of, first is nylon, first string treble nylon, second one nylon, third one is a fluorocarbon alliance. But we have demand from more professional wanting to have the first nylon, second alliance, and third string G alliance with the Corum, Contiga premium basis. Another thing is we are working hard now on ensemble guitars, ensemble instruments, to renew and to bring the Contiga technology to this. We start again working on the string for the tierce guitar.
Yeah, and I think that that's a really special thing that you're working with the terz guitar, because classical guitar already is a very small world, but the world of the terz guitar is getting smaller. So it really shows that you're dedicated to guitarists of all types. For people who are watching, who maybe play on 7-string or 8-string guitars, do you have strings for them?
I don't know. You have both. If you want to tell it, tell it.
No, we can tell that because we are working with my very good friend Armando Costa, and there is a development for this kind of set with 7 strings. So we develop a special string for him. There is a market for that, and the music he's playing.
Perfect. Well, I'm really thankful that you took the time to do this. Yeah, it was an honor. I look forward to meeting you in real life someday. Perfect. Take care.
Okay, take care, everybody, and see you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Greetings, Chris and Igor. How are you guys doing?
Awesome. It's great.
Doing great. Thanks
awesome,
for having us,
Yeah, it's nice to meet you guys. You guys are here representing Tonebase. Do you want to tell me a little bit about what Tonebase is and where guitarists can find it?
Sure, Chris. You want to kick us off?
Absolutely, yeah. So Tonebase is an online learning platform. We host over 450 lessons, courses, interviews with some of the leading classical guitarists in the community. Grammy Award winners like Scott Tennant, Sergio Saad, Bill Kangeiser. But on top of just the lessons, the huge content library that we have, we also have live workshops. We host anywhere from like 3 to even 5 or 6 live workshops every single week.
That's great. No, it seems like a total hub for guitarists and musicians alike, because from what I can tell, Tonebase is not just for guitarists.
Right. We also have a classical piano platform.
Seeing kind of like how the platform was received by our fellow guitarists and kind of the community members. Like, let's see if maybe pianists think similarly. Maybe they also want to learn from the great instructors and the great players in their field. And so we expanded to pianists, very similar, actually like almost like scary similar results in kind of like how the platform is perceived. And I think kind of the the vision for us, is obviously to make this available to as many musicians and instrumentalists and educators, as well. We don't discriminate, right? We're open. We don't discriminate against other instruments. I mean, guitar is the coolest, I mean, it's just like, let's put it that way. But I mean, even if you're playing the violin or cello, you probably should have something like tone bass in your instrument available. So this is kind of where we see things going.
Yeah, no, it's really incredible. The way I describe tone bass to my friends is like if Masterclass and Netflix had a musically very detailed baby, tone bass would be that for both guitarists and pianists.
That's scary accurate. That's exactly how I describe it to investors.
Yeah, and I don't mean to really explain tone bass when I have the tone bassers right in front of me. But for those who are, tuning in and don't know what tone bass is and maybe are curious, there's, like Chris said, so many pieces that you can check. If your teacher assigns it to you, there's probably a tone bass lesson on it. And there are all these pros, virtuosic players who talk about their interpretive choices in the piece. And as the piece is going, the notes that they take on the score are there below. And you can take these notes as your resource and do what you want with them as well. I think it's a really genius concept. So not only are you avoiding the slowdown feature on YouTube and going frame by frame, pausing to see which fingering Roland Deans was using on
we do have a slowdown feature, so by the way, just in case, if you want on top of that.
If you enjoy doing that,
if you want to do that slower, you totally can.
So tell me a little bit about how tone bass started. You mentioned it was a little bit of a selfish concept, but it's grown into something loved by so many people. Where did this idea come from?
So Igor and I actually met. We were both studying at Yale Music School with Ben Verdery. We were in the same studio.
The one and only.
One and only Ben Verdery, our mentor and
human being,
biggest tone bass fan.
Oh, yeah.
And we actually happened to take this class at the same time called, I think it was Entrepreneurship in Music. But this class really opened up, I think, both of our eyes to how there's many different opportunities for having a career in music. You don't just have to be a performer or just have to be a teacher, which is kind of drilled into you when you're at music school. And it kind of opened up, a lot of different possibilities, and like I said, in this day and age, there should be no reason why someone can't learn from, Ben Verdery or, Sergio Assad, Anna Vidovic, Leo Brouwer even. And so that's kind of what we set out to do with this project.
So in parting, I have a little challenge for you guys. If you were to sell tone bass to someone using only 5 words, which 5 words would you use?
Wow.
Learn from the best, let's do guitarists.
Netflix and Masterclass for music. That's way less inspiring and way less, urging than Chris's, but yeah, it also depends in kind of like, what context, but this is at least how I would like describe it first and then go from there.
All right. Thank you guys so much for coming out here. And I hope to meet you guys someday soon in real life. Take care. Okay.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Thanks a lot, man.
Thank you, Zeno. And thank you, GFA, for having us. Yeah.
So for this event, we decided to stream the content for free on Facebook and YouTube. Besides the content you've just seen, we have technique workshops, lectures, concerts, masterclasses, and so much more. If you become a member today for only $20, you won't miss a moment at the convention because every event today and yesterday are viewable on demand on our website along with the live stream. But we are now going to switch back to our members only stream on the GFA website for the first concert of the day. This concert will be a shared performance by Gigi Kim and Sean McGowan. To open this concert, we have a performance by the South Carolina MEA All-State Ensemble. We hope you enjoy.